time is 26 minutes post 4 p.m. on a Friday evening. Start to Christmas Eve. Now, how special is that? When most of us are busy and having a great time with the family members, here we are setting up an experience for everyone. Cut, let's get straight into the episodes. Will you read and write and sing and experience? Thinking that one day, just about one day, things will build the character you admire to live as. You love and you lose, bleed best you can, to the extreme, hoping that just about one day the world will read you like the poem you want to. You learn, you grow, you aspire, you inspire, and live like a story that makes you be the best story one has ever heard of. So true. And just continuing forward to what exactly we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, and each one of you out there, as festivities roll in, we're here as the Economic Times presents to you the Cutting Chai Stories brought to you by ET Edge. My name is Mithun Upadhyay, and I'm delighted to join somebody who holds straight up and his head high in what he does. A very happy person. Well, you can read more about what he does on LinkedIn. But here at Cutting Chai Stories, we bring you something that you haven't heard. Please welcome CTO You Grow Capital, Mr. Rishabh Garg, with us here at Cutting Chai. Rishabh, so happy and delighted that you're with us right now. A quick question. What are you excited about?
So I'm excited about, first, I'm excited about being here. Thanks for having me, Nitin, and Economic Times be with you tonight. And the next thing which excites me is the technology. So what I'm doing for last 20 years in my life.
Absolutely. So we'll talk about the technology a bit later.
Yeah.
Right now, we'll talk about your life away from technology.
Yeah.
What you did back as a child, those days where the worry or tension words never existed. I'm questioning about your childhood. Where were you born? About your parents, your siblings, your best friend back in school, and more about school days.
So I born in Eta, basically in 1981, and I spent most of my lifetime in small town Saharanpur, basically. So I had my complete schooling, all the schooling in Saharanpur itself. So I spent around 15 years in Saharanpur. My father is a doctor. He is in a transferable job in a government department, and mom is a housewife. But we mostly stayed. The father used to get transferred at many places, but we used to usually stayed in Saharanpur itself. So here I had done my complete schooling. So from the school days, I'd been very studious. Always used to be remain in top 3 positions, basically.
Oh, wow.
So, so the entire schooling. So I'd been kind of basically an introvert kind of person, very curious, always keen to learn new things. So it's not, so studying is something, being top of my academic, something which I used to enjoy, basically. Though I used to enjoy with friends also. So we used to play around when I used to be a kid, basically. So we used to stay in a hospital campus, basically. So it's a big green campus, huge green campus. So the memories of that huge campus still stays with me, basically.
Absolutely.
So used to so most of my childhood spent in hospital, basically. So we used to run. Father's doctor. He's he's a chief medical officer at hospital. So we used to run around the hospital galleries, the OTs and everything. So that's how most of my used to play around in the hospital itself. That's how my childhood spent.
आपके लिए हमारे लिए हॉस्पिटल होता होगा, घर के लिए प्लेग्राउंड था. तो यहाँ से खेलना, वहां खेलना, इस फ्लोर खेलना, उस फ्लोर खेलना. And being in the medical, being in the medical family and being a part of government, hospitals.
Yeah.
And I know I can recall and recollect actually the memories of, being in this huge campus.
Yeah.
There's so much to do, so many friends. बट आई लाइक हाउ यू मेंशन आई वाज वेरी स्टूडियस, मैं टॉप 3 में था, हाँ कभी कभी खेल लेता था। दैट पार्ट ऑफ दोस्ती। तो आपके दोस्तों के बारे में पूछा जाए, हम पढ़ाई
हाँ,
साइड रखते हैं
हाँ,
फिलहाल
हाँ,
के लिए,
हाँ,
क्योंकि पढ़ाई के बारे में बाद में बात होगी। तो आपके दोस्त स्कूल में थे, कौन थे, बेस्ट फ्रेंड कौन था, और क्या जो नटखटे होते थे हमारे
हाँ.
जीवन में, उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए हमें।
So mostly, most of my friends, so being an introvert, so most of my friends are like me only, basically. So it's like attract likes, basically. So
वाह,
so I used to attract persons like me only, in fact. So a few of my friends are kind of natkade, the term you use, basically. So memories are a little bit faded of the school time, but still, so those are the great times. So
एब्सोल्युटली,
these kind of friends are there who just, because of them, I used to take the break out of my studies and used to enjoy the
क्या
life.
बात,
Yes.
क्या
So
बात है, क्या बात है। एंड सोने का भाव बढ़ रहा है समय से, पर जो मेमोरीज होती है वो ज्यादा
yeah.
बढ़ती है, एंड दैट्स फ्रॉम स्कूल डेज। तो आगे बढ़ते हैं, स्कूल खत्म हुआ, सहारनपुर में थे, कॉलेज की बातें, हाउ वाज इट गोइंग टू कॉलेज, ब्रेकिंग द बैरियर, यूर अ क्यूरियस चाइल्ड बैक इन स्कूल, बीइंग इन द टॉप 3, बोर्ड एग्जाम्स क्लियर किया, अब कलर यूनिफॉर्म, कलर ड्रेस और कॉलेज, इसके बारे में बताइए।
So college is something. So I just take a step back. I'm so I had been always been surrounded by IITians. So being a small city, though there are few two things which come on the top of the mind. Either become an engineer. If you want to become an engineer, go for do it from IIT, and or either you can go into a medical line, basically. So my father is more concerned of about me being an engineer and cracking the IITs. So from the beginning, from the infant 9th 6th class, he encouraged me to start working towards getting an admission in IIT, basically. So even if I talk about the families who reside around in the same campus, so many of the parent children cracked IITs, basically. So
क्या बात है,
and they had been into entrepreneurs. So that fascinated me a lot. Basically, that inspired me to work harder towards IIT. So for 2 years, I worked really hard, slogged hard for IIT. Eventually, I got into IIT Roorkee, and
क्या
that
बात है, रुड़की के, वाव, आईआईटी रुड़की जहां व्हाइट हाउस है, आपको पता नहीं होगा, बट भारत में एक लौता व्हाइट हाउस आईआईटी रुड़की के कैंपस में है। तो
yeah,
आईआईटी रुड़की में आपका एडमिशन हुआ, पापा का सपना पूरा हो गया, यू नो व्हाट आई
yeah.
एम सेइंग, बिकॉज़ एवरी डे सब लोग आजू बाजू में आईआईटी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, आईआईटी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, जब आपका हुआ तो आपको कैसा लगा वो, दैट एग्जैक्ट मोमेंट के बारे में बताइए।
It's very exciting. It's like dream come true for many, for 2 years, 3 years. I worked really hard for this dream. I slogged hard. I remember ki even in Sanpur at those days, for few there's no used to be electricity for a week, for weeks time. I used to study in Lartens, basically, at
क्या
that
बात है,
time. So finally, when I cracked IT, so in Saranpur, typically 2 to 3 students per year make a cut across IIT, basically. So it's a proud moment for anyone getting into an IT. People
एब्सोल्युटली,
start, everyone in this city knows about you, so they used to come congratulate you. Even it's a proud moment for my family also, basically.
क्या बात है, क्या
So
बात है, एंड
everyone
आई एम
is
श्योर
so that's
एवरीबॉडी
very
वाज
exciting part.
प्राउड।
Yeah.
तीन लोगों में, हाँ ऑफ कोर्स बड़ी चीज होती है, यू गॉन इनटू आईआईटी रुड़की व्हिच इज अ बिग थिंग। सो आईआईटी रुड़की, आधा सपना पूरा हो गया, जो
Yeah.
बचपन से पढ़ाई की थी उसका जो रिजल्ट था वो निकल गया। उसके बाद जीवन का सच्चाई, जहां काम आया, वर्क रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आई। सो नाउ आई एम गोना टॉक अबाउट 20 years you have been a techie, and I assume that's the first to now. You've been a techie from the first job till now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about the journey, the first job you got, and the journey of being where you are today.
Yep. I again I take a step back, basically from the college life,
I
basically.
love the step backs.
So miss that question. So here how the journey starts shaping up, basically from
True.
college itself. So when I ended up in college, I realized that it doesn't matter whether you are a topper of a school or college. There's always some way bigger stage where you'll be facing people who are better than you in any respect, basically.
Right, right.
So from there, I learned to be more humble and always started opening up for learning more from others, basically. So even if in college, since I had used to be a very curious person, so in college during my BTech, we undertaken a college-funded summer project, and as
Yeah.
an outcome, we authored a research paper, and our paper won the first prize in Asia Pacific Student Paper Contest from IIT.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful.
Went on publishing that paper in world's largest wireless communication conference in New Orleans, US, and we were
Wow.
the youngest presenters ever presented on that stage in the college.
That's so amazing, so
And
amazing.
that day I realized that if you are determined to do anything, nothing in the universe can stop you to achieve your goals with your hard work, and you can do the impossible things.
That's
And
the
and that
quote.
and that day that thing got ingrained with me basically.
That's
So
the
and we achieved that in the third year of the BTech. Hardly
wow.
anyone.
That's early, very early.
It's very early success post ID which I had experienced in my life basically.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Uh, and at that point of time, so there was a kind of slump in the job market. So I think there were very few companies who came for placement at that point of time. And me and couple of person landed up a job at Infosys basically.
Okay, okay.
So that's the for the first time I stepped out of my home after Roorkee basically. So Roorkee is again, it's very near to Saharanpur. In fact, it's
Correct,
around
correct.
1 hour distance. So then I went to Bangalore at Infosys campus, joined that. So that's the first time got exposed to a bigger world outside the small cities.
And
So
this Infi, which location?
Bangalore.
In Bangalore, which location
Bangalore,
were you
yes,
in?
and that happened in 2003, and it was, I think Bangalore was much better at that point of time than it's now. It was
Right, right.
weather was very good, and it's less congested in fact.
I was
So
in Infosys Electronic City.
electronicity, joined
Right,
electronics,
EC1. Wonderful, wonderful.
electronicity
So
campus.
first job comes in Bangalore and the journey now begins.
So
So how was it coming to a new city out of Saharanpur, Roorkee, and facing the challenges, working towards life here in city of Bangalore with IT capital, R&D capital of the world?
Yep. So it's a very interesting part of my journey. So basically, Infosys used to hire in groups basically. So there are a couple of around to 10 to 15 people they hired from Roorkee campus at that point of time.
Oh wow,
So we at that point of पैसे होते नहीं थे. I think this were very short on money. I think they used to pay around 18-20,000 in the first year basically. So
correct, correct.
we all booked a small apartment and we used to stay all together. So it's a fun time. It's better than hostel life, in fact.
Actually, actually.
So all the money is at your disposal, and we
But
just
tell me one thing, Rishabh. I think Enfi AC also gives you facility to be in the campus, have the hostels experience, right?
no,
I don't know with पहले था कि नहीं पर अभी तो है.
no, it's not there. I think it's Mysore campus. It should be there, but I don't think so in Bangalore campus there.
नहीं,
I'm
I
not
think
aware
Bangalore
of
में भी
that.
अब चालू हो गया है. It's been about
Yeah,
5 years, 6 years now. जहाँ
that's good.
अब
Interesting.
everything is there from cafeteria to washing machine,
It definitely. So everything is
laundry.
there right now. But campus stay, I'm not sure. Well, at that point of time, it was not there. So we used
Wow,
to stay outside. So that's for the first time we scouted for home in Bangalore. Most of the time, it's difficult to talk to people in their local language. People do not understand even Hindi. So
ಕನ್ನಡ
at
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
that point of time, you start wondering whether you are in India or you're outside India. But really, it was an interesting time. I learned a lot.
I can relate to that.
So met, it's altogether different culture. So met really some very bright people from Bangalore, South India. I made very good friends in Bangalore. So
Wow,
so
so wonderful.
good exposure for me.
So, how long were you in Bangalore, and then when did you move out of Bangalore?
So I moved out. It was a pretty small stint in Bangalore. So I moved out of Bangalore in 2014, basically. Uh, 2015, sorry, 2015. I moved out of
Only
Bangalore.
12 years you were there.
No, sorry, 2015, sorry, 2005, sorry.
3 years. Okay.
So 2 years, sorry. So 2005, I moved out of Bangalore and I landed up a job in Noida, basically. It's a telecom software startup. So out of, in fact, my majority of the career, if I talk about, spent working with startups only. In fact,
Right.
so Infosys
Intriguing.
and SAP Labs were the two large companies in my career, and they happened during the initial years. So post Infosys, I moved to SAP Labs. Then I decided to work with a startup in Noida. So I moved
Okay.
to Noida in 2005 itself. I moved to Noida,
Wow.
working
Wow.
with startup, and it's a telecom software startup. And this is a complete kind of cultural change for me. In fact, working with a kind of this
Sorry.
nice campus, Infosys nice campus, to a startup kind of thing, where at that point of time, I think startups are not like very huge funded kind of startups. So
True.
it's
True.
the old kind of workstations are there. Rickety cafeterias used to be there. So it's a different kind of culture shock on me. Like, but it's very good. Matlab, people are used to the people are more focused of getting things done. So people are more focused towards innovation. They are hardworking. So that's particular startup used to hire from IITs only initially at that point of time. So the
Right.
kind of people, which the kind of energy I'd seen over there, I've never seen before. The working towards a
Wow.
common goal, in fact. So it was a very interesting experience for me. I stayed there for around 5 years, more than 5 years. Starting, I had an entrepreneurship kind of thing in my mind. Basically, that's
Right.
from my childhood. In fact, since I stayed in ninth class. So whenever in all the companies I used to move, I created that kind of group which kind of brainstorming on startup ideas, basically from way back in 2003.
That's
So
so
in
good. So good.
Infosys also, we got that kind of group who used to brainstorm all those kind of ideas. So finally, in 2010, in Noida, I took a break from my work and started an e-commerce company in 2010 at that point of
Oh,
time.
you did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was my first entrepreneurship launch, and it was bootstrap company, so self-funded kind of thing. So me and one of my partner, we both started that company. We tried to run it for 2 years. In fact, we had seen both highs and lows in that company. So at point of time, we were among the, it was into kids category. One
Okay.
point of time, we were among the top three kind of e-commerce players in the kids category in India.
Oh, wow.
And we innovated a lot, basically. So we, instead of spending more on digital marketing, we went by partnership kind of approach. We worked with ICC banks, and we brought that kind of concept where banks started giving our discount coupons to all its customers at the point of time.
Right. Right.
So around that time, Snapdeal, Amazon, they entered into India. Snapdeal moved from a coupon-based system to a market-based kind of model. They entered.
Right. Right.
Amazon entered into India, and they started deep discounting. So then our sales started falling down, basically at that point of time. Then losses started happening. Then we decided to call it a day, and we decided to shut it down, basically.
Right. Right.
So in fact, went low on my savings pool. Then I decided to again join a job, basically. So and joined a US based company as a technical architect, and they have a technology development center in India. The company was into SMA financing space.
Okay.
So when I joined that company, it was around 15-20 people team, and I kind of pivoted their entire uh, technology architecture to a scalable fault tolerant kind of model, and moved entire thing to the cloud, basically.
Oh, wow.
Then a big digital transformation in that firm, and that's the time I started getting recognition in the corporate, basically. So it's a kind of, there's a lot of visibility, basically. I gained a lot of visibility in top management at that point of time, and within a year I had been promoted to VP technology at a global level, basically. And now when I left that company after 4 years, that was around uh, 500 people team company. So it had grown very fast. So played various roles in that company,
Oh,
and in leadership level, on leadership level. Matlab, basically, since I had seen that company grown from 20 to 15 people team to 500 people team, I'd taken care of almost every department at that company. So
so
gained a lot of valuable experience, basically. Worked with a lot of banks across the US, and help them in their digital transformation strategies during that
so
company.
wonderful.
So again, kind of before I slipped into the comfort zone, I decided to take got accumulated good amount of money. I decided to take another entrepreneurship plunge. Uh,
Okay.
then I joined a startup, budding startup in Noida as a co-founder and CTO over there. So again, I got the same kind of opportunity to grow this company from 0 employees to uh, large, kind of as a bigger
Wow.
organization.
That's wonderful.
So,
Wonderful.
so that plus point is that company raised some seed funding by the time I joined that company, and that was into ideation stage, and we decided to do something on the rural side, basically financial inclusion side. So
Right.
we built an insurtech company which focused on selling insurance policy to the rural customers, villagers basically. So here in rural India, the penetration of insurance was very low, very sorry, it was very pathetic in fact. And
Right.
a lot of insurance companies are focusing on the urban market because that's an easier piece to be correct. So we
True.
focused on the Delhi on the rural market. We worked with insurance companies and created products which are well suited for the rural market. So you cannot sell a 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees policy, premium policy to a rural customer. उसकी requirement ही नहीं है इतनी, मतलब he do not need a coverage of 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs basically. तो
Right.
उसका
Right.
different requirement है. So we built our smallest insurance product started from 35 rupees per annum.
Wow.
Maximum
35 rupees.
per annum. So we started. So we brought those kind of products in rural market basically. So it was so I basically translated lot of learning, lot of my learnings I gained from my previous employment with this to credit into this new insurtech venture, Gram Cover basically. So and that helped me a lot in building the complete product roadmap,
Right.
which no
Right.
one had done before basically. And it was kind of assisted journey. It's not like kisan aayenge and they will buy the policies on their own. This never happened in India. In fact, no one used I think less than 5% people buy the policy on their own in insurance policies. It's a more
Right.
or less kind of assisted journey. So build a complete digital model around assisted journey itself, where we built a network of village level entrepreneurs who are well versed with the mobile applications and everything and technology. So we taught them to use mobile application and sell insurance to the farmers basically.
Oh, wow.
So in the first year itself, we sent in first 3 years. In fact, we sold policies worth 100 crores. Uh,
Oh,
so that kind of
big achievement.
yeah, that kind of premium we had collected during the initial. So that's a kind of remarkable feat basically. So we had been recognized across various global and local forums basically. So we had been part of many discussions, forums being floated by Government of India and Finance Ministry on promoting financial inclusion in the rural level. And that's I think that's a turning point in my career. So the kind of recognition I got, the kind of exposure I got in building an organization from the scratch, that helped me a lot. And so in terms of professionally and personally, in fact.
That's wonderful, Rishabh. That's
So,
so good to hear about your journey. And I like the ups and downs that you've had, कि comfort zone में थे, like अब मजा नहीं आ रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा comfortable हो गए हैं, let's start a startup.
yeah.
You did that, you practiced, you worked it, there was ups and downs. And then there was a day you call it a day on the right time. Then again, you're like, okay, let's get back to something. You joined, you pulled the team out, had a different role play, you got them to be 500 employees, and post which you're like, okay, now again I'm getting comfortable, let's quit again. Again, you became a founder and joined a startup as a CTO. Again, you led the entire team from the front. So you've seen organizational changes. You
Yeah.
have seen organizational grow. Uh, how has, in very simple terms, let's put it in rapid fire round. Uh, how different has each organization been? If you were to describe this for me in just a one liner,
Mhm.
let me ask you, how was Infi's journey in one line?
It's at that point of time at my level, I think it's slow and steady in fee.
Okay.
Yeah,
SAP Lab.
it's fast and steady. It's a very
Okay. And
innovative company.
when you went back to Noida, you joined a startup. How, I do not recall the name of the organization, but
Agnity. Yeah, Agnity. So it was full of energy at that point of time.
full of energy. And how was you working as a entrepreneur, having your own organization?
It's challenging. challenging and
And then
and
you
exciting.
quit this, and then you joined another firm, and you're a different
Uh,
role player. What was the how would you describe that?
it's a turning point for me in the life. Basically, here I rediscovered myself, my potential at that company.
Wonderful. And if I were to tell you how's the journey been with you, Guru, so far?
Euro is it's a very different kind of journey. In Euro, I faced so I work with startups only for my entire part of my life, and this is for after a lot many years, and I joined a bigger organization like Euro, which is having around 1,000 employees. So it's a kind of different kind of experience. The challenges I faced in Euro in hiring and dealing with teams, I never faced those challenges before. So I'm
That's
learning here every
wonderful.
day. Every day I'm facing new challenge. I'm learning. Every challenge used to teach me something new. So basically,
That's wonderful, Rishabh. I love your journey, and I like how you are like, you know what, I'm comfortable हो रहा है. Now I want to take a shift from here, make life a little more interesting and exciting. That's been the journey with Rishabh Garg. I just want to wind up with one last question. What does success mean to you with overlooking at so many organizations, from having your own, then being a founder in an organization, to working in different firms? What does success mean to you?
for me, success doesn't mean to. So being a profitable as an organization certainly is important. But for me, it's leaving a positive mark with the for the people whom you work and people who are working with you basically
Right.
around you, the end people around you. That's more important for me as a success. And
I
during my entire career, I focused not so my career choices are not governed by the money basically. So my career choices are more governed by the people whom are going to work with basically, the kind of people I'm going to work with, and the kind of challenging assignment I used to get, I would be getting. So my career choices are more or less dependent on those choices, and I never regretted those choices in fact in my life. So with every career choice I made, I really enjoyed and learned a lot for my career choices.
That's great to hear, Rishabh. That's very, very indeed great. I like how firm you are in terms of what you want, and your focus, you're straight head, and head always up, and you look into things. So, as I wind up, I just have this one last question about the challenges the industry faced in the year 2021, and what do you think with any innovation and much more with innovation? How does the road look ahead?
So the key challenge right now as a leader, which I foresee in the industry, is for hiring and retaining tech talent right now. So,
True.
so to sort this out, companies quickly innovated to offer work from home to candidates who are unwilling to relocate to the place of work. And
Right.
various collaboration tools made this possible. Organizations now need to invest in critical IT equipments, I think, to provide a richer experience to employees while collaborating
True.
online. And hybrid work environment is going to stay for long. And also
Yeah.
to tackle short-term supply crunch of skilled engineers, I feel organizations need to catch them young through colleges, invest more time in with them in final year through internship and training opportunities. That's only we can tide up with this challenge or the complete industry or industry is facing, at least tech industry is facing.
I agree, Rishabh. I like the last point you mentioned that the company should really look into the final year students and try to prep them up because there are a couple of organizations I cannot name on this platform, but I have known, and because I know the guys really well, the team, they're actually doing this. They're actually with these guys, prepping them up 6 months prior before they
Yeah.
join, and that's the way forward. And as you said, the hybrid, the virtual, or whatever you call this, is here to stay. So
Yes.
you have to invest on equipments and make sure things are easygoing, then always depending on the human chain that we believe in. Wonderful to hear that, Rishabh. Indeed, very, very interesting. I've also been joined by another gentleman who's right now joining us right now. I would like to welcome Mr. Aditya Agarwal, who's head large and medium enterprise of India, in conversation with you, Rishabh. But as Aditya has joined in, Aditya, I hope you heard Rishabh talking about the challenges industry
Yep.
faced and what to look forward for in the coming years. What is your take in it?
See, what he said is definitely, what it is. But someone was jokingly saying that when we look for people, we don't get it, but when we look for jobs, we don't get that too, right? So it's a strange one. But yes, hiring and retaining talent is definitely on the cards. What we also, and I'll speak more from a technology perspective. What I see happening with me and our customers and everyone around is how do we make this whole work from anywhere work now, right? We
Right.
had work from office, we had work from home, but now people are saying, and during this work from home, people have sat in coffee shops and worked, right, when they couldn't go to office, or they've sat at different places, and now people are saying that, hey, we want to work from anywhere and make that happen. And the challenges I see, one is the whole connectivity piece, the whole security piece. How do we keep them productive, right? So that's something that I definitely see as a challenge going forward, especially with my personal hope of corona going down in 2022. You don't hold me to that, but I'm just, maybe I'm more of a dreamer over here. But I think that with that happening, we will not go back to the days that we were at, which is everyone in office. I think people have tasted that, good and bad, and the hybrid is here to stay. So yes, work from anywhere, I think, is the one biggest trend and challenge that I see forthcoming over next year.
Absolutely. I like how you actually spoke about these things. I like, on the contrary, you both gave me a perception of a coin. Where Rishabh spoke about one side of the coin, you spoke on the other side of the coin. So going forward, it's going to be Rishabh and Aditya in conversation, and I'm really looking forward to this one because I will understand more vertex and the perception of the two individual who are masters in what they do and talk about what is lying ahead of us. So Aditya, over to you, and thank you so much again, Rishabh. Indeed, it was great having a conversation with you. Over to Aditya in conversation with Rishabh now. Thank you.